in Oregon, and I was asked to give my review on the stock archery arrows and my opinion of how they perform. And I'll start out by saying I've been shooting them for about a year, a little over a year now. At the end of the 2018 season, I decided I was going to make a switch of arrows, and I'm glad I did. Came across the stock archery. I started shooting them, absolutely fell in love with the arrows. I shoot out to about 120 yards with them. Very accurate, very good tight groups with these arrows, from 10 all the way to 100. They're just phenomenal arrows. They shoot fast, accurate, group good, and very quiet. I was fortunate enough to take a couple animals with them this year. A deer at about 30 yards, blew right through it, passed through, nothing slowed it down. Couldn't find the arrow, went too far. And the next deer was about 65 yards, quartering to me a little bit, and I hit a little forward and went through and hit the opposite shoulder, bounced off the opposite shoulder. The deer kicked it about 10 yards, and the arrow was just fine. I picked it up, put it in my quiver, and proceeded and went and found the deer. I've only been shooting them for about a year, like I said, so I haven't had many encounters with animals yet, but I'm hoping to, in the near future, the 2020 season, take a couple more animals with them and just really see how these arrows perform. I absolutely love these arrows. There's really nothing bad I can say about them. They have a couple different styles. This one's a 300 spine, 5mm carbon woven arrow, about 30 inches. It's got this little outsert on the end here. Very durable when you glue them in good and tight. I think I'm pushing about 285 to 290. Just really nice arrows. Shooting the max 100 vanes. Just really performing outstandingly. But I used to shoot the Easton Full Metal Jacket, and I loved those arrows. And I just kind of got tired of paying an arm and a leg every time I would send one down range and miss or mess up or hit wood or something. It cost me a lot of money, and their whole mission behind, or one of their missions behind the stock archery business, is to make a good, durable, accurate, just dependable arrow that's not going to break your bank, and they've crushed it. This is a great, phenomenal arrow. It performs fantastically. There's just, it's really only commendations at this point. I missed the deer at about 72 yards. I held for 75, shot over it, and I blew a rock in half. Broadhead was a little damaged. Arrow was just fine. Threw a new broadhead on, put it in my quiver, kept hunting. And it's just things like that. They're just really, I mean, 72 yards, and it really performed great against a rock. And the only downfalls I've had with these arrows have been at like 20 yards, a smack a rock, and that's just shooter error, and definitely expected not to stand up against a rock at 20 yards when you're shooting about 300 feet a second. But one of their greatest attributes to this company is their customer service. Austin is a great guy. He really takes care of his customers, puts his customers first, and very proud to say that I'm going to be supporting the stock archery arrows for my 2020 season and many seasons to come. That'll do it.